Hello there and good evening and welcome to All 24 Nightly News coming to you live from Algiers. I'm your host, Karim Fazakari, and up next are the top stories. Devastating Daniel storm claims over 2,000 lives, sparks urgent international response, and Algeria rushes to aid. Also in our news, rise in death toll in Morocco earthquake aftermath as urgent search and rescue operations are underway and aid shortages plague survivors. Kremlin condemns or confirms upcoming Moscow meeting between Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un amid North Korea arms concerns. And Ukraine announces limited advances on southern and eastern fronts, reclaims Black Sea oil platform amid concerns of a frozen war and tensions with Brazil. Hello again and welcome to our news. First in our topical news, the death toll in eastern Libya due to devastating floods exceeded 2,000, with thousands still unaccounted for. The official Libyan news agency described the event as catastrophic and unparalleled in the nation's history, noting the disappearance of entire residential neighborhoods swept into the sea, along with their residents. Let's get more in this report.
Devastation strikes again, but this time in Libya. The eastern part of the country is reeling from catastrophic floods, claiming a staggering 2,000 lives and leaving thousands missing. Entire neighborhoods have been wiped off the map, swallowed by raging torrents into the abyss of the sea. This is an unprecedented nightmare in Libya's history. Hurricane Daniel, which has morphed into a merciless storm after tearing through Turkey, Bulgaria and Greece, is now targeting Libya. This tempest may have weakened, but it still remains chilling. Dozens dead, with many more, including Libyan military personnel, unaccounted for. The chaos is vividly captured in viral videos of stranded individuals standing atop their cars, desperately crying out for help in flooded cities like Benghazi, Sousse, Al-Baida, Al-Merj, and Derna.
We declare the city of Derna as a disaster-stricken city that needs international intervention and needs the opening of sea lines because all routes to the city of Derna are cut off. It is possible to enter the city of Derna by one road, but this road cannot be reached that easily.
In response, authorities have declared a state of emergency, locked down schools and shops, and imposed a curfew as this relentless storm continues to unleash havoc into another fateful Monday.
Amid adverse weather conditions following Storm Daniel's aftershocks along the Libyan coast, the Libyan National Oil Corporation has heightened its state of maximum alert. The corporation issued a statement emphasizing the importance of extreme caution. It directed all affiliated companies to minimize movement at oil facilities, suspend flights between fields, monitor port and shipping activities, and prioritize safety measures to avoid risks. And in this context, Algeria has expressed its unwavering commitment to support the Libyan people in mitigating the devastating effects of recent floods. In a statement, the Algerian Foreign Ministry conveyed the heartfelt condolences to the government and people of Libya, pledging solidarity and assistance during this tragic time. In other topical news, Morocco mourns as the recent earthquake claims 2,862 lives and injures 2,500, marking the deadliest quake in 60 years. Al Hawass province, the epicenter, reports 1,591 fatalities. Survivors in the hard-hit High Atlas region are struggling with food and water shortages as aid workers confront challenges in reaching affected villages. Thousands of families endure a third night sleeping in the open. More with Zahra Furjani.
It's been 4 days since this earth-shattering event struck in Morocco, and the death toll continues to climb, now exceeding 2,600 lives lost, with an equal number of injuries. In the wake of this devastating seismic catastrophe, communities find themselves grappling with the harsh food and water shortages and the dire need for shelter. In Amizmiz village, survivors have sought refuge in rescue camp stands designed for a maximum of 12 people, as their home were either reduced to rubble or deemed too unsafe to inhabit.
All we need is bread. They are now setting up a place to prepare bread, water and electricity.
Amizmiz is suffering. No bread and no electricity and water. People are suffering and aid is late. Some are stuck in roads. Some lack food and shelter. We are 12 or 13 in the tent, including kids and parents. The situation is dire.
One villager, Mohammed Ushan, recounts his nightmarish experience on the fateful night. While he emerged from Friday's quake with his life, he lost his home. But Mohammed didn't stand idly by. He used his bare hands to dig through the debris, searching for neighbors buried beneath the ruins in the immediate aftermath of the quake.
I heard people screaming as they were dying. Please put us out. After I managed to leave, I rushed to save people. I heard my sister screaming, brother, save us. I rescued her, her son, and her husband. We were busy rescuing because we didn't have tools. We used our hands. We kept digging by hand.
The abysmal conditions faced by those affected cast a dark shadow over Moroccan earthquake survivors, threatening to become the worst human tragedy in over a century. This grim reality is compounded by the fact that many of these resilient individuals reside in remote areas that have endured poverty and isolation for decades.
And on the occasion of this ordeal, Algeria swiftly dispatched logistical and material aid to Morocco following the devastating earthquake. Algeria had offered to send an 80-member civil defense intervention team, including specialized rescuers, if Morocco accepted. This team comprises search and rescue experts, medical personnel, and a technical unit for locating individuals in debris. Initial humanitarian assistance, including tents, cots, and blankets, were also included.
By order of the higher authorities, 3 aid planes were deployed, the first carrying a civil protection team with an international badge consisting of 93 members. In the team specialized in rescue under rebel, a cyno-technical team, a special medical team, disaster medicine, and logistical team. The other planes will carry relief materials consisting of tents, mattress covers, medicines, and also food supplies as a contribution from Algeria to reduce the impact of the severe earthquake that affected and caused pain to the brotherly Moroccan people.
Algerian Red Crescent, as the humanitarian shield of the Algerian state, was on alert since the first hours of the disaster that befell the brotherly Moroccan people. We were just waiting for this assistance to be accepted by the Kingdom of Morocco. Thank God today, after the decision and the statement of the Moroccan Minister of Justice to accept this aid, we immediately shipped it with the help of the Algerian Air Force. There are 2 humanitarian aid planes loaded with all basic supplies. A significant and thoughtful amount of medicine, especially for emergencies. There are also 2,500 food parcels loaded with all the basic supplies for an average family for a period of 10 to 15 days. There are mattresses, covers, mobile beds, and tents as well.
Non-governmental relief organizations in Morocco voiced concerns over the shortage of essential aid for earthquake victims. Action Meteor, a prominent NGO on the ground, emphasized the urgent need for food, clothing, clean water, blankets, and tents. The affected individuals believe that the current aid supply falls short. Morocco has also made an international plea for assistance, seeking help from Germany through Action Meteor, Europe's largest medical relief organization.
Was brauchen die Menschen jetzt? Sie brauchen Nahrung.
What do people need now? They need food, clothing, fresh water, hygiene, blankets, tents. That's what's available here. But we were told that this is not enough for everyone. That's why we're here, to fill any gaps. We do this with our local partner, who's very well connected here in Morocco and also cooperates with the local authorities.
Still in the same file, amidst grief and uncertainty, the mountain village of Amizmez perseveres, for a third consecutive day, searching for survivors beneath the debris. Located in the earthquake's epicenter in Al Haus province, half of the town's population is either deceased or missing. Here's Salman Asib with more.
After a devastating quake brought Morocco and sent shockwaves worldwide, search and rescue teams are in a race against time. International charities are stepping in to help.
Our sincere condolences to the relatives of the people who died. We, as a national organization, showed our solidarity to the earthquake's victims. Everyone managed to collect goods, and we rushed to give a help hand to the people of this area, even if it's very modest.
In Amizmi's community 35 miles southeast of Marrakesh, firefighters work tirelessly pulling bodies from the rubble. Heart-wrenching scenes as relatives watch, hoping for a miracle.
It was really a devastating moment, which I believe will leave a huge impact on me for the rest of my life. The earthquake occurred at around 11 p.m. on Friday, and a few minutes later, the power went out, and we all stayed out overnight. The whole town was shaken.
This small town street team with people, some in makeshift camps, others missing or lost.
Many of the people we know have been badly affected, especially those who live in the mountainous areas. I heard that some surrounding villages have been completely destroyed, and many families were crushed in the home collapse.
Morocco's most powerful quake in over a century has claimed 2,497 lives, with thousands injured and many still missing, according to the latest state news agency update.
On Monday, Sahrawi Republic President Ibrahim Ghali is set to meet with UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres at the UN headquarters in New York. Discussions, as per the Sahrawi press agency, will focus on various shared concerns, notably including the status and future prospects of the UN-backed peace process in Western Sahara. The talks will also explore strategies to expedite Western Sahara's decolonization with the participation of senior UN officials. This meeting falls within the ongoing dialogue between the Sahrawi Party and the UN General Secretariat and its related entities. To a different matter in Africa still, Gabon's interim Prime Minister Raymond Ndong Sima has initiated a 2-year transition towards free elections, deeming this time frame as a reasonable objective. Appointed by the military, Ndong Sima expressed optimism that this plan can yield success within 24 months, allowing for potential adjustments to the timeline as needed.
Je suis toujours d'avis qu'il faut
I still think it is necessary to start with a period of about 24 months, which can be slightly more or less, but for me 24 months is a reasonable objective. The process we need to lead towards these elections is comprehensive. It means inclusive discussions and consultations that many people will participate in, so there will be feedback, outputs, and endorsement of the results that would be obtained in the midterm, so I think it can happen within 24 months.
Moving on, the Spanish Popular Party has once again accused outgoing Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez of endangering the country's unity by seeking support from separatist parties. Party leader Alberto Núñez Viejo stated that Sanchez's efforts to secure votes from separatists or create a government stalemate pose a threat to Spanish democracy and the constitution, labeling these actions as political hearsay.
The main problem is not that Sanchez abandoned his dignity and principles, but rather that he negotiates with the dignity of the Spanish people. It cannot be accepted that they change our democracy with an alternative system in which the voices of citizens are not equal.
Viejo also accused the Socialist Party of promoting the division of Spain and undermining its unity by granting privileges to a political elite, thereby neglecting the principle of equality for all Spaniards.
What the Socialist Party wants is to try to justify their choice to divide the country, weaken it, subjugate the citizens, and give privileges to a political elite at the expense of the principle of equality among the Spaniards. This is political heresy for the inauguration of the Prime Minister to be subject to the will of the separatist movement.
To a different development now. On Monday, Zionist occupation forces detained 22 Palestinians from both the West Bank and Gaza Strip. They entered the Aqaba Jabir camp near Jericho, leading to clashes with local Palestinians. The Palestinian Red Crescent Society reported that they transported one person injured by live bullets to Jericho Governmental Hospital. Additionally, the Zionist forces made several arrests in the camp and in various other areas, according to the Palestinian news agency. In a related matter, renewed violence and armed clashes in a Palestinian refugee camp in southern Lebanon left 10 dead and dozens injured. The Lebanese army also reported that 3 shells hit army positions near the camp, injuring 5 soldiers with 1 in critical condition. Usama Ayadi reports.
In southern Lebanon's Ain al-Hilwa Palestinian refugee camp, a renewed clash between rival factions has left 10 dead and many injured. This distressing violence follows months of factional strife, with the Palestinian mainstream group FAT facing off against rivals, resulting in over a dozen casualties initially.
Unfortunately, Ain al-Hilwa camp is a very massive camp. It's one of the most heavily populated camps in Lebanon, and it has a lot of potential for political dynamicity. So this is why the fighting there reflects itself on the condition of the Palestinian diaspora and the Palestinian refugees.
Over the weekend, conflict flared up again, breaking a month-long ceasefire and claiming 10 lives. Among the victims were 6 FAT militants and 2 extremist Islamists, while 2 civilians were caught in the crossfire. Additionally, 5 Lebanese army soldiers were wounded, 1 critically, during clashes on the camp's outskirts.
What's happening in Ain al-Hilwa camp today and in the past few days is an extension of the previous skirmishes and fighting that took place several weeks ago, which is also another extension and a continuation of what used to happen weeks and months before.
The escalation raised concerns of spillover into the neighboring city of Sidon. However, a glimmer of hope emerged as a Lebanese general brokered a ceasefire between rival Palestinian factions on Monday, highlighting the pressing need for enduring peace amid the volatile dynamics of Palestinian refugee camps.
Iran's Foreign Ministry spokesman Nasser Kanani expressed optimism on Monday about a forthcoming prisoner exchange agreement with Washington. He also confirmed that Iran's $6 billion frozen assets in South Korea would be released soon, clarifying that the two matters are unrelated.
Anyway, we're optimistic that the prisoner swap will happen in the near future, based on the agreement we had.
And in different development, the United Nations has condemned the recent spate of Quran burnings in Sweden, Denmark and other countries as abhorrent. During the Human Rights Council session in Geneva on Monday, United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights Volker Turk stated that these incidents have fueled polarization and division, sowing discord with societies or within societies and between nations.
The repugnant, serious of some 30 incidents of burning the Quran recently is the latest manifestation of this urge to polarize and fragment, to create divisions within societies and between countries. I will discuss this in more detail on the 6th of October in line with Resolution 53/1.
To other story making headlines, the Russian presidency announced that North Korean leader Kim Jong-un will visit Moscow soon, following an invitation from Russian President Vladimir Putin. This confirmation from the Kremlin follows a White House warning issued a week ago, cautioning against North Korea about potential consequences if it provides weapons to Russia for use in the conflict in Ukraine. Here's Islam Said.
North Korea's President Kim Jong-un is reportedly set to head to Russia for talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The confirmation of Kim's visit came from both Russian authorities and North Korea's news outlets on Monday.
At the invitation of the Russian President Vladimir Putin, the chairman of State Affairs of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, Kim Jong-un, will pay an official visit to the Russian Federation in the coming days.
South Korean media suggests that Kim may journey from Pyongyang, possibly via an armored train to Russia, with the meeting scheduled as early as Tuesday. This summit between Moscow and Pyongyang has raised concerns in the West due to the growing proximity between the two nations, heightening expectations of expanded bilateral ties, encompassing various aspects, including potential arms deals.
Buying weapons from North Korea may be the best and maybe the only option open to Moscow as it tries to keep its war effort going. We have serious concerns about the prospect of North Korea potentially selling additional weapons to the Russian military. It is interesting to reflect for a minute on what it says that when Russia goes around the world looking for partners that can help it, it lands on North Korea.
Based on the international stage, the upcoming meeting between Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin carries significant implications amid regional tensions between the US and North Korea over Pyongyang's ballistic missile tests on one hand and the US military drills with its allies in the region on the other hand. It's worth noting that Kim's last overseas trip took place in 2019, when he also visited Russia's Far East for a summit, following the breakdown of North Korea's nuclear disarmament talks with former US President Donald Trump.
To the Russia-Ukraine file now. On Monday, Ukraine claimed to have gained territory in the east and south from Russian forces and also regained control of a Black Sea oil and gas platform previously held by Moscow since 2015. Despite these claims of advancements, President Zelensky acknowledged the counterattack's limited success. More in this report.
Recently, in the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war, both sides' officials reported heavy fighting in a small area of the southern front, with no clear sign as to which side may have the upper hand. While Russia forces were focusing on to advance and capture part of the village of Optina to the south, Ukrainian troops near the frontline town of Avdiivka took advantage of the situation. Ukrainian Defense Ministry claimed that it had regained more territory on the eastern and southern fronts.
Over the past week, 2 square kilometers have been liberated in the Bakhmut sector, and a total of 49 square kilometers have been liberated near Bakhmut.
Furthermore, in an interesting twist of events, Ukraine reported that it had taken back an oil and gas platform in the Black Sea seized by Moscow in 2015. This platform is claimed to be of vital importance to the Russian forces, who used it to keep ammunition.
During inspection, we found unguided airborne missiles in the engine room. We understood that the Russian forces used the platform as a warehouse for ammunition. We also found cisterns with petrol. This platform was very important for Russia. That's where they refueled and kept ammunition.
These claims could not be independently verified, while Russia's defense ministry did not immediately comment. However, Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky, and despite these claimed gains, admitted that the counterattack did not achieve the desired results and warned against what he termed a frozen war with Russia.
To speed up counteroffensive, but remember that we need the result. The result we have to get our land, we have to deoccupy the land, and it's also not about the land, it's about the people, because the frozen war is not the peace.
It is worth noting that Western provision of advanced weapons to the Ukrainian army continue amid Russia warnings of the matter that may further escalate the situation. According to experts, it may be a far-flung outlook for now, but the recent development in this conflict seem to reduce Russia's capabilities, especially what's going on in the northern Black Sea, a focal point for gradually waning Moscow's hold off.
In a CNN interview, Zelensky accused Brazilian President Lula da Silva of showing clear bias towards Russia by demanding that Ukraine yield its territory to Moscow.
You support Ukraine or you support Russia? There is no other variance, really.
There's no space in between.
No space between. It's true. The question of the time. The question of the time when you will recognize it and when you will understand it. It means that if Lula don't support us, he will. If he doesn't support us, he will support Russia. Even he doesn't want. That's why. Lula, maybe he said, I don't know what did he mean, but he said it about that we have to stop the war and we have to find compromise always with the people who are ready to compromise.
German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock confirmed during her visit to Kiev that Ukraine belongs in the European Union. She emphasized Germany's support for Ukraine's EU aspirations due to the ongoing war, mentioning Ukraine's candidate status. Baerbock also announced 20 million euros in additional humanitarian aid, bringing Germany's total aid to Ukraine this year to 380 million euros. The end of our program. Thank you for watching and goodbye.